Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Of Mice and
Wolves, ow! This is the Comic Book Workshop show where we help other creators to maneuver the issues that they may be having in the comic book industry, anywhere from production to Kickstarter to building an audience, all that fun jazz. We will try and workshop with them. And without further ado, why don't we bring on our guests? That's your job, JD.
What's up, Fred?
Hey guys, how we doing today?
Good. How are you?
Please introduce yourself.
I'm doing great. My name is Fred Schwartz. I'm the writer-creator of Fisticuffs, and we have Fisticuffs is the story about a functional drunk whose comfortable life derails when a one-night stand has deadly consequences. It's a grim, gritty story with a dark, absurdist humor and a bit of a personal slant. So I'm here today to learn from these guys on how to best serve us as we head into our book 4 campaign.
All right, cool. What's up, Grant? Please introduce yourself.
My name is Grant Lankard. I've been a comic book creator for about 5 years now. I am the creator of Beowulf, Memoirs of the Morbid, and League of Cryptids. And League of Cryptids is the comic book that I have on Kickstarter right now. This is the 4th issue, and that will bring this storyline to a conclusion.
Very nice.
Cool.
I want to give a shout out to Mark. He's actually a new creator that I'll be working with for his upcoming campaign with Mike Zapsik from Comic Book Men. So we'll be getting him on the show when his campaign goes live.
I met Mark at MegaCon. Great dude.
Yes, great dude. His wife's fun. I mean, it's great. All around great working with the family.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. So usually, gentlemen, this is how it works. We usually have 3 guests, but tonight we have you 2, and that's all right because that means more time for you. And so we usually go clockwise, starting with so we'll start with Fred and then we'll go to Grant. Basically how it works is we will say, you will tell us what your issue is, and then we'll go around, each of us will ask what the clarification questions are. So the question phase goes first, so to kind of make sure that we figure out what you've already tried, what you've been doing, so that we're not, when we get to the answer section, that we're not giving you stuff that you've already done, because we don't want to waste anybody's time. We want to be helpful and all that fun stuff. So, Fred, what is your issue, sir?
Okay, so recently I've heard of the philosophy of like 80%, 20% of like focus versus noise, right? And I'm trying to, just level up and do a better job with this campaign, from a marketing standpoint. Mm-hmm. And I guess my main question is, where should I best put my energies? And in terms of platforms that I'm not trying, and specifically how to approach them, because what the issue that I kind of choke on a little bit is being that I'm a hair older, and not so much, ingratiated with the social media like a lot of the young people are. When
you say young people as if you're that old.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this. I think you're the youngest person in this.
Oh no, it's the hairline is not being, it's hidden. That
I feel that.
But no, that is fair. Okay, that's I'm not, okay, but what I'm saying is I didn't grow up naturally going towards. So we all have our best ways of communicating. I gravitate towards comics because I like scripting, words and pictures and stuff. I'm not very good at prose, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not great at group chats and things of that nature. I tend to either overthink or underthink what I say, and it's I tend to do better, I hope, in these types of environments where I'm talking to people and engaging in real time.
Yeah, actually having conversation rather than typing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then and again, when I'm in those forums and stuff, sometimes like it's harder to discern inflection and what people are saying, and like my mind, I'm like, you can't really, I don't interpret that stuff as well. But I know these things are necessary evils that I have to do. So I guess what I'm getting at is I've heard a few different things that think I've been underutilizing. I'm on Discord, but I'm not quite comfortable there yet. I've heard mixed things about Reddit. Some people say it's a huge resource. Some people say it's like, kind of a bit toxic. The other one I've heard is like some kind of backer kit forum that I'm not quite familiar with. So I guess what I'm asking is where do I put my energy? And then once I know where to put my energy, like how do I find that like, organic comfort zone where I can kind of, I mean, even me getting to do this and like talking with people, like, I mean, I'm a lot, believe it or not, better at than I was when we first met the last time a year ago. So I guess like, where do I put my energy and how do I try to figure that out?
Okay. Grant, do you have any questions for Fred to clarify before we move on?
Well, I guess the big one would be, I mean, what social media are you most active on?
Probably Facebook, because again, that feels like, that's like my comfort zone. But I also make sure that I hit Instagram, Twitter or X or whatever you call it. I just have a few connections on there that I've been, trying to feed, but I'm not like, haven't been able to get that following yet. Blue Sky, I've done, okay on. And then the new one that I'm actually going to be working on, pressing a bit harder now, is going to be TikTok and YouTube. I've been told, and rightly so, because like, my comic is kind of out there, but it's also really personal. Sharing that aspect might help. And that's actually kind of what the comic's for too, is actually to help people. Right. So it would probably bring in that kind of audience that I want, so like, those are things that I have done and I've been working before, but, Discord I've done a little bit of, but I still, it's me on that one. Like, I think sometimes I don't feel like I'm, good at that behind a keyboard connecting with people.
Yeah, I don't like Discord either. It's a weird interface.
Yeah, and also I don't have, like I realized too that like I think you're supposed to have notifications on for that, and like I was on Discord for like a year and a half, and I didn't, so I was like, I wondered why I didn't have very much interconnectedness, and I would only see the updates when I was specifically tagged in. It's because I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, but that could also be rather annoying having those updates on. Like, for example, if you're in a Discord server that has a ton of people and they're very active, your phone will be like either vibrating or going ting ting, like making, you're going to get notifications out the wazoo. So like, it's one of those things that like, if you want to be comfortable doing it and you just check it often, kind of like Facebook, because I have my notifications turned off for everything. I just get on and I look, and then I check and see what, what's new. But anyway, so we're kind of getting off topic. So, all right. So you've tried all those. Do you have an email list that you're cultivating and sending out, and how often are you sending out?
Yes, that is another one that I did forget. I have a Substack as well. I've been building a list for like the last year now, and it's growing slowly, but it's growing. I do, and this is something that I actually want to work on a bit more in this year, is being more like regimen, because I sometimes, when I have like a lapse in things to report, I sometimes have a lapse in posting, because like I have to find that balance between like being consistent, but also not just sending something just for the sake of sending it. So right now I'm gonna try to do like every like 3 weeks or so, send something that maybe. But I also too, like when I try to do the Substacks, I try to put time into it and like try to work on something quality, because I don't want people to feel like, I'm bothering them. And again, that's just a Fred issue going back to like, that's something I need to get over from like, probably childhood and shit, but
But
I do have a question. I do have a question for you. When it comes down to your Substack, what are you actually putting in it? Like, what type of material? Are you just promoting, or are you? Because usually what I find the best that works for me in my Substacks is I'm writing an article about something. You know what I mean? I'm reviewing a movie or discussing a film, discussing a comic book, not my own, someone else's, something that I'm interested in that came out like God knows when. So I'm just wondering, are you using those strategies to then bring people in to your work?
Yes, I am. And but the thing is, I think I am still figuring out what tracks best, right? Like my most successful and again, I'm beginning to learn that like conventional wisdom sometimes works, even if it's like a little I don't know, even if it feels a little like sleazy or whatever. Like for example, like my best performing Substack post was like I titled it "Why Am I Still Here?" or something like that. Okay. The reason why it was like the 10-year anniversary of me, of like a hospital stay where I almost passed, but I didn't, and whatnot. But probably because of the clickbaity title and because of the subject matter, that got a lot of hits. But I always do try to like do something, either whether it be something about like something like I enjoy comics, movies, sometimes pro wrestling, sometimes something personal, sometimes something about process. But I think the issue is probably consistency on that. And again, maybe just I don't know where the people are per se. Like I see people with these like huge numbers of like followers and backers, and obviously those are the people that have done this for a while and have earned it, like you guys. But sometimes it's just the comic book community, it's like, it's weird, you hear it's both like small and large and stuff, and it's like weird. Like sometimes you go to an event and you like like we did this week or a couple weeks ago, and it's like, man, that's like a good chunk of people, and like you don't know how big or small things are. And it's like sometimes I think like it is really insular and like I'm hitting everything, and then it's like you see numbers like that and you're like, man, I don't think I've like a fraction of people probably know about me, and less than them have even read it yet. So it's like it's kind of humbling and confusing, because it's like I don't know how many people there are and where they are, and I keep hearing things like Reddit and all these places, and it's like I don't know, is that like, do you guys go there, or is there like better options?
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? I have a few, but I don't want to pass anyone up. Grant, JD, do either of you have any more questions? All right. So one question: do you use BackerKit Launch as a supplement? Okay. No. This is issue 4, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Issue 4, third campaign.
Okay.
My first one was 2 books.
Gotcha. So I think would be a good time to start looking into BackerKit, because then that BackerKit Launch, you just pay $100, and it then will send an email to all of your past backers. And then it's all one thing. So it's not like you're updating each campaign and they're all kind of getting super spammed. The other question I had was, so, oh shit, where was it? I was like, while you were talking, I had it formulated.
Come on, Rob, get it together.
Look, I still have medicine head because I got a cold and sinus infection.
I'm still gonna get over it too.
So. I know. Updates. Do you share updates with other backer or other Kickstarter creators who are live now? Like, so are you doing backer swaps?
No, actually, not yet. Because I'm in pre-launch. I haven't formally started doing that. Is now a good time to start doing that?
I mean, you can, but it's better to do it while you're live.
Because I had some help with that last time. That did, I feel like, push the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, so there's that. And then the other part of that was, do you give your first issue to other Kickstarters to use as a digital bonus for their audience to then get to know you?
I've done it a few times, but not probably not as much as I should have. Yeah, that's a needle mover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. If nobody else has any other questions, I think we can roll into the suggestions then.
Yeah.
Grant, go ahead. What do you have that you think will help him?
I mean, it sounds like you're kind of on the right track. I mean, you're using social media. You have a newsletter. Maybe you're not getting as many subscribers. I mean, do you offer something for free if they sign up for your newsletter?
Yes, but it's funny as you mention it. I realize how long it's been since I've mentioned that to anybody else. Yes, there is a cookie that I did set up when I first did it, but as you're mentioning it, it's like, man, it's been a long time since I've even pushed the Substack to the forward front. Like I feel like, especially lately, I'm always pushing the Kickstarter pre-launch page and, trying to refer people to that.
Yeah, that's a good way to, like, especially if you're like, let's say you're giving away your first issue, right? And that's what I do. I give away the first issue of Nightwolf, and I think the first 9 pages of Snowpaw as my sign up offer. I think eventually I need to switch that out and just do the first issue of Snowpaw too. But that's a good way. It's something too that you can like put out on social media when you're not promoting something, right? That's you're saying, hey, you want to get a free something, check it out, go here. And, as long as you have a good landing page with some good pull quotes and stuff on it, I can send you a link to mine and kind of give an idea, like, how to set it up if it's not like that already. But that's something that you should be doing in between campaigns before you go to pre-launch, right? That's something too that you could even have like on your, a nice trick. If you go to my, Lone Wolf Comics page, you'll see at the top it has like a, hey, get the sign up and get a free digital copy of it, whatever. So that I mean, if you're doing it for like a issue 1 and 2, yeah, I could see what Joey's saying, but like once you get to like 3 and 4 and it's bundled in there, it's really not. I mean, people, if they like it, they're going to support you anyway. If you give your free first one away and they don't like it, they're not going to back you, right? So that's kind of it's one of those things. It's like a give and take. Anyway, so I find that it works more often than not. Quite honestly, I've grown my email list by giving away my first issue of Nightwolf since 2019. Same thing, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it hurts. But doing that, like I said, helps if you have like a good landing page. Also, you got great ratings on this book. That social aspect helps, and it'll get people to sign up for your list to help build that. But what I was saying about on my page, like if you go there, you can click it and it'll open up and it'll say, click here to get a free digital copy. You know what I mean? So like that's some things you can do in the description of like your banner at the top of your page. Different tricks and things you can learn to help promote that for fun. But all right. JD, do you have anything?
I mean, my biggest suggestion to you would be, like I said, I've never read your Substack and I don't know how you're formatting it or what you're doing. One of the tricks that I use or I try to use is that when I write an article, I try to bring it back to my work, right? So I'll write something, it could be anything. Let's say I'm writing about a fantasy-based whatever. And it's like, okay, boom. And then towards the end, I'll have some kind of, segue into my book, right? So like you have a book about a guy who's a drunk, right? I don't know if you want to like, I don't know, like, because I have a friend who's huge into, was it IPAs?
Yeah,
right? He's into beer, right? Yeah, he loves that shit, right? So I don't know if you're big into that, right? But there's a huge community that's into that. Your main character is a drinker. Maybe you can get him into IPAs. And then you can cross-reference that, right? You can say, oh, this is an IPA I tried out at this club or at this bar. This is IPA I tried out at this bar, blah, blah, blah. This is with this bar. And check it out. My character in my book also drinks this beer. Boom. Right?
Or if he does like, liquor, his favorite mixed drink, and you can do mixology, like how to make it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And then even some of the IPAs, they're small business. They're usually tiny business. Dude running, making the beer out of his bathtub or whatever.
Microbrews love it. Attention you can get them, just like
Yeah.
us. Right. Indie beer probably.
Yeah.
Producers are just like us.
Right. You understand? You could boost their beer. Maybe they could boost your book. Right.
That would be amazing, like a Fisticuffs IPA, or yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because
I think what was it, who somebody actually did that with the beer with his Justin Hunt,
with his character on.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's something like that type of cross promotion when it's figured out like that. I think is a little bit more clever.
Mm-hmm.
So you just try to focus like that. I deal with a mouse, so it's kind of hard. I don't think I want to go into like bait. Mouse bait. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know
if that crossover market syncs up, but
right. But I'm just saying for you, I think that might be something you can look into because you got a lot of beer drinkers, right? You also have a lot of mixed drinks, whatever your main character's fancy is. You could maybe be able to push them in that direction.
It might cross over. So this is a beer. I mean, it looks like Cyclops.
Oh my God, that's amazing. What's it called?
Right.
Out of Order. It's an American sour. They're a brewing company out of Cambridge, Maryland.
I was gonna say, if it's still around, I would get that for a friend of mine. That's that Cyclops costume is.
Well, it's not. So this isn't the only X-Men. So they have like a Nightcrawler one, they have a Wolverine one, they have a Rogue and Gambit one together, and they have a Storm one. It's all the dogs dressed up like the X-Men with different flavors. I don't know how they got away with it, but I mean,
I was gonna say Disney is quite Sue happy. They're very litigious.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe they got the rights to it. I don't know, but whatever. Cool, if you do get a chance though, they're actually quite tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I do try to give it out. Actually, as we're talking about, this, that I just remembered another resource that I have, and that's that I have book one for. So, like, I should be promoting that more and getting people into it and hooking them that way.
Yeah, I mean, us comic creators drink too. I mean, I do. Not all the time. I mean, I'm not a drunkard, mind you, but I do enjoy a good IPA or a good craft brew. I mean, I'm not, I had my time with Budweiser, Eric beers, but I moved on and I enjoy the more craft beers because it tastes better.
I mean, and it would actually probably be helpful for me. Like I'm sober, but if you guys want to get smashed on it and stuff, maybe when you have a problem, you reach to my book for support. So that might help out.
Well, comics is something that we get into, because we either recognize something within ourselves or aspire to be better. So, you see something, relative in there, somebody might be like, oh, shit, that reminds me of me. Maybe I should get help. Oh, yeah. Well, and it cuts the other way, too, man. Like, I was, spent many a nights at bars thinking I was like Logan or something, feeling that, lonely gruff, those mother effort, sitting there. Yeah. We've all done that. We've all been there. I mean, I actually think in my drunk mind, I did Wolverine one guy in the face one time. Next time I use these. Well, I mean, he fell down and looked like a cockroach. He was like, oh, yeah, the fun times of being in my early 20s.
Rob, don't incriminate yourself online.
I mean, hey, look, I'm past the statute of limitations. I was just going to say many years.
Okay, good.
All right, yeah. So anyway, we kind of went way off topic there. Does anybody else have any thoughts for Fred before I jump in and give him some more?
My only thought is, I mean, I think you're probably overthinking this. It sounds like you're doing from what you said, it sounds like you're doing a pretty good job. I think maybe you just need a little bit more patience. Maybe you're not. It sounds like you're making progress, even if you're not making progress as quickly as you would like to be. Thank you. And I do need to hear that sometimes, because sometimes I can be hard on myself and whatnot. It's just, how it is. It's like sometimes, these things are a numbers game, and you see,
I don't know. It can be psychologically humbling at times.
Right. But you have to kind of like also keep you're going to be your own worst enemy, right? We all are. Like, at least I know I am. I mean, but it's just, you got to just kind of help keep that right mindset and, just keep pushing forward. Like, you're obviously making forward momentum. So you're doing something right. It's just a matter of, where you're focusing on trying different things. Right. But you said like getting into Reddit. JD, you've tried Reddit before, right? Or what was that? Something else?
For a short period. It's like everything else.
All right.
I don't have time for that.
Right.
But I try.
All have limited time.
That's what I'm asking is like, especially with Reddit, because like I've heard like some people are like, oh, it's such a great thing. It'll, add like, so many. And then other people just tell me, like, all due respect, but some people tell me it's kind of a cesspool and, just negativity and it could both be true. I don't know, but that's what I'm trying to learn.
It doesn't hurt for you to just, you can just go on Reddit and say, hey, I launched this comic book. And that takes 3-4 minutes. It probably won't increase your sales a lot, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, the more links back to your campaign or to your website or to whatever you have going on doesn't hurt. That's like, as JD said, multiple streams coming in. Mm-hmm. I think what might behoove you more is that, like you said, you're good at talking like in these situations, right? The keyboard is not necessarily your best friend, right? So TikTok might be a good way for you to do some shorts, and you can reuse those for reels on Instagram, on Facebook. Like that's something, if you're comfortable talking in front of a camera, and talking about how excited you are, it's kind of like the idea of being at a Comic-Con, being at your table and talking to people, right? Just treat your shorts like that and show clips of your book or whatever, or just, even if you're just holding up your phone and talking and then you pull it and show it to, pull up your book and do a quick over on it, they don't have to be like super deluxe video editing, that's not what TikTok really is anymore. People don't care about, they think that if it's really super done up, that it's probably fake. They like the real, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's something that might help you. But that, again, it's going to be another thing that you're building, and it's going to take time. Unless you're you're dancing to some TikTok fad, and building up your following that way, but that's probably not going to help you.
No, nobody wants to see me twerk.
But like and what might help you too to kind of get through that whole mindset is like being, because you are part of this community with us, right? And surrounding yourself with us and just constant, and even like, just a quick, like you did comment on somebody's post like that. That's something that you can help game, like the Facebook algorithm is, if the more you're commenting and liking some and sharing other people, the more that you'll get their attention and they'll do the same for you. And then you kind of become top of their algorithm, their feed, you know what I mean? Like, so, and you don't have to be like super in depth with like a lot of stuff. So like the overthinking it thing, as long as you're always like super grateful and super chill, like people are like, like you said, it's hard to gauge like, feelings through text, but like, as long as you're, top beaten, not being a dick, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Okay. So I think the more you interact in the community and around comic people, and then like JD said, at the end of the conversation or whatever, just kind of slide that in, what you got going on. If it actually comes up, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Joey's right. Joey's right. You have to listen to people, and that's how you generally gain fans. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, Fred, I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say thank you. I mean, that's it's a lot of great information. I appreciate that. And that is something that I started and will continue to try, the TikTok thing. So thank you.
And consistency is definitely going to be your friend. So I know you said you had trouble with the consistency. Mm-hmm. It's like a muscle going to the gym. You know what I mean? You got to work that muscle, and you got to keep working that muscle, because if you let it slip, then you let it slip. it's hard to get back into it. So you don't want to be that guy who's like, hey, I need your truck to move my, to my a new apartment. You want to be that guy who's like JD said, when you're in your Substack, tell them your feels. Like that one that you said about, why are you still here? That's actually really good. Like it's an origin story. It's something that makes you feel human. You're selling yourself as much as, and people cared, obviously. And one of my best emails was talking about my attention deficit and dyslexia. And how like my mom helped me to overcome it with comics. So like my origin story was one of my biggest, most read emails. Like that's people want to know you're human, and they, if you have flaws, look, and that's what made a lot of the early Marvel stuff great, is that Stan Lee and whoever his co-creators were they didn't feel like they were unbeatable. They had their human flaws as well, right? Spider-Man had his flaws. Hulk had his flaws. Fantastic Four all had their weird quirks. You know what I mean? Like they weren't like Superman is now and Wolverine is now, where like you can't kill them, right? Back in the day when Wolverine was made, it took him forever to heal from a bullet wound. So, but now he's all like, plop, plop. Oh look, I blew up and now I'm back together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like the interesting stuff is the human piece, the human element. And people want to know who you are. So I'd say lean into that a little bit more. Why is the story so important to you? Tell that story. People want to know.
I will. Thank you. Thank you.
So, all right. Cool. Does anybody else have anything for Fred before we move on?
No. All right, Fred. Hopefully we helped.
You guys did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
That's what we're here for. Hopefully we help. If we don't, well.
Yeah. Sorry.
I told you, man. I
tried.
You guys did. I quoted Rob the other day from the other day. I was like, man, I was telling a story about like something that you were explaining at the thing. I was like, man, it was so like, I was raving about you, sir.
Well, thank you. Yes. And I'm pretty sure, like, when you were like, it was about the hardcover thing, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that sounds like that's what she said coming along. But I mean, and I was like, and I'm like, and I was also thinking, I was like, I know I had a few margaritas, but I wasn't exactly sure what I said.
It was good. It was sound.
Well, I'm glad that I had something good for you. Because I find that the older I get, my memory is not as good as it used to could. All right. So let's, Grant, what is your issue, sir, and how can we help you?
So this is something I've been thinking about a lot, because I have a lot of ideas for comic books. And my question is, do you guys create comic books thinking about building a personal brand? Or do you kind of just go where the ideas lead you? As far as my backstory, I don't feel like I have been building a brand for myself. I kind of just do what I think sounds fun. And, I'm starting to worry that in the long run, that's kind of hurting me. I don't see. I guess what I'm saying is I do comic books in multiple different genres, and I don't necessarily see a lot of overlap in who's buying which comic book I'm promoting at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if I'm shooting myself in the foot by doing comic books in multiple different genres.
Okay. Fred, do you have any clarification questions for Grant?
I do. Grant, before we get started, can you tell me what you have like in your library so far that you've published? What briefly, like what you have, what like genres they fit into, and maybe what you're kind of wanting to do next, and kind of how they all, just give me where they are as they exist.
So I would call Beowulf modern fantasy. Um, League of Cryptids is more superhero with a little bit of sci-fi. And then Memoirs of the Morbid, I would call more of like a straightforward horror with a little bit of humor thrown in.
And how many of each are there?
There's 7 issues of Beowulf. The League of Cryptids is on its 4th issue, and Memoirs of the Morbid is on its 3rd volume. That's an anthology.
And how many are they? Are they all intended to be ongoings, or are any of the miniseries with a clear end?
Yeah, I mean, I do all miniseries because I like doing that better than ongoing series. I like to give people jumping on points, as opposed to just doing an ongoing comic book, which doesn't really have any jumping on points.
And last question, I don't want to ask too many clarifications, but same line.
Oh no,
But,
keep going.
Yeah. So how many more of each of the ones that you have ongoing right now? Like Beowulf, like has how many more? How many does League of Cryptids, like how many before they conclude? And then what do you want to add to this library that you're worried about connecting as a brand?
Yeah, so Beowulf has at least 2 more issues, at least in this mini series. League of Cryptids, of course, we're on our final issue in this mini series, but I probably will do a sequel. Memoirs of the Morbid, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to do more memoirs, and I won't beat around the bush. I mean, part of the reason is that it doesn't sell as well as the other 2.
Mm-hmm. And then and then what was the next on your plate that you wanted to, like you were talking about building a brand, like you have a next project that you wanted to add to this catalog?
Yeah. So
what genre would that be?
The next series is another new genre. The next series I was thinking about doing would be like sci-fi.
Okay.
Kind of dystopian future.
Okay.
Okay.
JD, do you have anything?
Yeah. What got you into this mindset that working the way you do? Well, obviously it's working for you currently, right? But what got you into this mindset that is the way you should do it, right? Like, why are you doing the limited series? Why are you jumping from genre to genre? You understand? Like, why are you doing this?
Why? Because I mean, this is. It's not something that I did conscientiously. It was okay. This is the best idea I have for a comic book, so that's the one that I'm going to do. Currently, I'm not. Sorry.
Well, no, because the reason I ask, right? And I saw Rob chuckle, right? Like, because historically, Dave Sim, 300 issues on Cerebus, Jeff Smith, Bone, huge volume, Terry Moore, a lot of omnibuses he's put out, 70, 80 issues. You understand? These are not people who are small potatoes. These are big names in the indie market. And, there's not a big history of these bigger creators doing smaller projects, right? They do bigger projects.
I mean,
right?
So I would say that the creator that I'm trying to emulate is Mike Mignola, who definitely works like that. On the flip side, a creator who I think, how do I word this? A creator who has kind of ran himself into irrelevance would be Eric Larson. By one of the co-founders of Image does a comic
Savage
book that less than 2,000 people read per month. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I'm at a comic book store, on the rare occasions when I see Savage Dragon on the shelves, I flip through it and I'm like, I don't recognize any of these characters. Who the fuck cares? Why would anybody buy this? And that's saying, I'm saying that as somebody who at one time Savage Dragon was his favorite comic book. So for me, I feel like where Eric Larson screwed up was he was going for that record of having the most continuous issue. And if any of you guys are Savage Dragon fans, I hope I'm not offending you, but
I'm offended.
to me, going after a record like that is kind of silly when it's like, okay, yeah, you have 300 issues of a comic book that nobody reads.
Okay, that's fair, but I mean,
we're not there. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
No. But no, it's not just even that. It's like we're not on a debate show, right? like this isn't my Sunday show where we would go at it because the difference. That's right, the dog.
He has strong opinions on Eric Larson.
Yeah. But I think the difference is that one, Eric, I think, is one of these people who's probably financially set. Yeah. Right? Like he's a creator who's financially set. I think he's taking care of himself. I think financially he's good. If he wanted to switch gears, he's worked over Marvel. Like I think he was writing Hulk for a little while. He's written Spawn for Todd McFarlane. He's done some other weird things. And that's just the type of guy he is. If he wanted to make money, he could make money. Right? He does Savage Dragon.
He might not technically be irrelevant because he is doing things. He's not a name, like McFarlane.
Right. He's not what he once was. Right. I think that's the point. He's not what he once was. And then a lot of the Image guys aren't. Right. Todd McFarlane went from selling 1 million copies of Spawn #1. What is 30,000-40,000 on these books now? Right. So, but I just don't think. I don't think it's fair to say he's irrelevant. Yeah.
Poor Eric.
That's all right. You don't have to apologize for that. That's your opinion. But listen, it's fair. I'm a huge Mike Mignola fan as well. But in that same breath, we could say, I have all of the Hellboys, and that's a huge collection. And I have all of the BPRDs, and that's a huge collection. And then when you see him do these shorts, there's usually an omnibus that ends up at the end, and there's a lot of them. So, I think that's all my thought is that with him, he's just going all over the place. Mike is, and he's not doing everything himself. He'll draw a cover, he'll co-plot, you know what I mean? And we, unfortunately, we don't have that advantage. And that's why he has such a huge library, right? Whereas, somebody like Sim or Smith or some of these other guys, they just stuck to the one character, stuck to the one story. So,
Is there a question there, JD? Or are we just...
No, there's no question. I just had a statement.
So, off the rails.
Is what you're saying is you think I would be better off sticking to one title? Or are you saying... Or are you saying that you think the idea of doing a different miniseries for each storyline is a bad idea?
See, then that gets into then Rob's gonna punch me because I'm gonna go into answer time. So
go ahead. At this point, I think we know kind of the general. I think it's at this point we've already moved past the question. So go ahead because I have a rebuttal for whatever you're about to say.
Okay. Here's the thing. I think it's probably good to build on one title, right? Initially, get a little deep into it, and then spin off, right? So maybe I know Cryptids. Your Cryptids title is really cool looking, right? Or even your fantasy title. Focus in on those, and then you start to spin off on the other stuff. Like the only reason I started spinning off on other things is because I had completed Oswald, right? I completed all the writing on it, and I'd already produced. I'm up to 7 trades. I don't know, but so now I felt I said now safe.
90s.
What? Yeah, I've been doing it for a
Not all
while.
of us have been here since the 90s.
Oswald has well, he has been here since the 90s.
Yeah, I was gonna
But-
say.
Yeah, but it was I felt safe in starting to spin off into other stuff. You know what I mean? So it just depends because but here's the other thing though. If you have that itch you need to scratch it. That's the other problem with it. Because I'm of two minds of this, right? Because I see your conflict, right? Like you're a creator, you want to create. I get it. You understand, but sometimes you have to build your name on one thing so that people will pay attention to the other thing, right? But it's a difficult road. And to answer the other part is, those 3 things that I do, like Magi's Grace, Tall Tales, Oswald, and Dreamweavers, like there's a small buy section of where everybody comes together to buy those. Like I have maybe like 20 people who buy all 4 of them.
So
Right.
So
And then I
that
have different-
was one of the main reasons why I wanted to ask you this question specifically, because I've heard Daphne, your wife Daphne, in the past say that among the different titles that you guys do, there isn't a whole lot of overlap.
Right.
So
I mean, even with my books, which are both werewolf books, and one spun out of the other, only half of my audience crosses over. Like, because Nightwolf being more of a dark urban, horror fantasy versus Snowpaw being a more 19th century fantasy werewolf story. And the art is the other thing, different art styles. So really, you have the people who are here for me that I've built up that brand, who like anything that I've written, who are coming to read my stuff. And then you have the people who just like werewolf stuff, or the people who are just engrossed in the story and want to know more. Then you have people who are like, I'm only here because I like this style. I'm only here because I like this style. So, even if you have similar stuff that like spuns out of itself, you're really not getting your entire audience to convert. And that's something I think we all kind of have to understand, that when we put something else out, we're building a brand new audience unless we've kind of built up a community around us, that we've built, like, as far as like this, because you were saying about building a brand, right? Well, you are the brand. You're that cohesive thing, right? So you kind of might have to like maybe build up yourself a little bit more. Like I was telling Fred, like give the reasons why, give your origin stories. Why are these stories so much more important to you? And then like, once you kind of get that community of people who just like, I like Grant stuff, I want to read Grant stuff, I don't care what genre it is. That's when you're going to get a little bit more trickle in. And as far as like, you're going to be building that different audience no matter what. But it works for some people and it doesn't for others. Like, for example, me and Travis Gibb are completely different on this spectrum, right? So I focused in on Nightwolf. I have multiple titles that I want to do, but I was like, look, I only got so much time and I'm going to focus on the one that I think is going to do the best. So I did, right? So I put all my effort into this one basket and it's gladly paid off. However, you have like guys like Robert Kirkman who've done several different titles, right? And how long did it take for him to get to The Walking Dead and to Invincible, right? Those weren't his first what, 2, 3? Like he did so many things and he was living in his parents' basement, you know what I mean? Like for a while. So having multiple things, like that one thing that you do may not catch, right? So you got to try different things to see what's going to be your match that catches that, kindling on fire. Right. But then you have, like I said, then you got guys like Travis who he does the same thing that you do. But you know what else he does? He also has himself as a brand that he markets, and he goes to different publishers. He puts out different stories to different people. And now look at him. He's getting guest spots at cons. Like he's doing it in a way where he is showing his diverseness, but he's also gathering people around him. And I mean, 90% of us, are in his orbit because, he's got that personality, right? So that's kind of like going towards your building towards the brand. You need to build yourself as the brand, and your books are your expression of that brand, right?
So what it kind of sounds like. So I asked somebody else this question, and what they said was, when Stephen King writes a book, you can tell it's a Stephen King book, regardless of whether it's horror, whether it's slice of life, whether it's science fiction. And I found that really fat. The point they were making was, you're going to build a brand whether you're trying to or not, on some level.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you mentioned the branding thing earlier and the different genres, the first example I thought of was Stanley Kubrick, which would be like a similar thing, right? Like I remember they said Stanley used to have the mindset of let other people dabble in different genres and stuff because I'm going to come along and make the best film in each genre. Like he didn't care. He wasn't threatened. Yeah, it's very bold, but he wasn't threatened by people like Platoon and other movies tackling Vietnam because he had Full Metal Jacket in his holster or horror with The Shining. So, but what you remember about a Kubrick movie are like the shots and the style. So, as somebody that didn't think much of branding and whatever, when I named my company Schwartz Art after myself, like the loose connective tissue was going to be like the stories that I bring and the style I brought, hopefully. And so I guess I would kind of like you said, it will come organically as you develop a style. So, I and frankly, from your genres, they didn't seem worlds apart. Like I can see like a superhero, thing overlapping with like a sci-fi, dystopian, thing. It's not like you're doing kids books and NSFW, there is, a thing, but you guys are more experienced than me. I guess it's probably less of a sliver than we actually anticipate. So, but I guess, yeah, just I think like you said, that branding will probably come over time organically to some degree too.
All right, cool. Yeah, and I mean, look, Stefan's right. Every book really makes its audience, especially if you also go for different genres. Then you really got to re-earn the readers every time, and that's just the unfortunate reality, because I think there's only a handful of writers, right, that we could probably name who people just follow that person, right?
Yeah.
Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman for the longest time, Frank Miller for a long time in the 90s and in the early 2000s, Warren Ellis, you understand, like Garth Ennis, so on and so forth. There's a handful of those guys. They exist. But for us to develop ourselves into that, it takes it takes an effort, Yeah,
I mean, any overnight success isn't an overnight success in reality. It's just people overnight see that one thing that finally caught fire.
Quick. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for trying different things. I think what it comes down to is when you're branding, you need to gather the people around yourself, right? Mm-hmm. When you go to cons, you're talking about your stuff, right? You're excited, and people see that, and they, then they're like, oh yeah, I want to check this out. You know what I mean? It's that same kind of energy that you got to bring all the time. And unfortunately, we have to be on all the time especially when we're on screen, right? Or when we're at a con, because if you're down and just nobody wants to talk to that guy, right? You're sitting, you're dead tired at a con, but you got to drink that energy drink. You got to get up, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be that, because you're trying to build a community around your stuff for people who want to read your stuff. And I can't reiterate that enough. You are the brand. You are your brand. Hell, I mean, this may be my brand, but I'm still me. You know what I mean? People know me, not so much that. You know what I mean? So I'm constantly saying I am Lone Wolf Comics. You know what I mean? That's how I have to play that. it's just something you have to do, right? I mean, JD, like he's got so many different publishing titles under his belt now with all these different titles that he's got going on, but he's still JD, Calderon. It's not Jose. he doesn't put that on his books. That's what his wife calls him. Nobody knows who Jose is except for his wife.
I gave up on Jose a long time ago. Well, I mean, I didn't give up on Jose, but I gave up on that. On just calling myself that. I just think it's easier for people to just say JD.
So yeah, I mean, that's again, just build. You gotta think of it as you're gonna try and cultivate these people, who like you, who want to read you, and then that's your start of your new audience, right? You have the people who kind of orbit around you, and then they'll be getting new readers kind of from the different genres. But Fred did have a good point, though. They kind of do cross the same. Like, I mean, cryptids and like Beowulf kind of like have a similar, even though it's not like the theme is not necessarily the same, but like there's kind of like a little bit of crossover there in the dystopian thing. I mean, it depends on, how you lay it out. But again, like I said, having multiple things isn't terrible if you have the time to do it. That's the thing. Like if you have the time to do it, great. Not all of us have that time, so we kind of laser focus on the one thing that we can.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Oh, Grant, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I haven't given up on Beowulf. But I mean, yeah, I don't know that I wanted to do just one comic book, for the rest of my life or anything like that.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Which one out of the 3 titles? So you said that the horror one's not your big one, but out of the 2, Beowulf and the cryptid ones, what which 2 or which one does better? Just out of curiosity.
Well, lately, League of Cryptids is outselling Beowulf. So.
That's kind of where my assumption would be, because cryptids are big, especially in a cult following. I mean, if I were you, I would lean heavier on that for now, and then maybe tie in with. I don't know if the 2 could be a crossover, but you could also have like the characters crossing over. That would help draw some interest, because that crossovers are big for everybody. They love it. You know what I mean? I have my other titles in issue 2 of Nightwolf that I kind of like sprinkled in. People are always like, "Oh, when are these coming out?" So, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." But like, I would say too, like as JD was saying, you could spin off one of those characters into their own kind of mini series, right? Or all of them could have their own mini series. I mean, look what they did with the X-Men. I mean, each one of them had their own miniseries at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not kind of pigeon-toeing yourself into one thing. You could, spread it, but still kind of your audience is still like, oh, I know this character, so I'm going to jump in here. And who knows? Like I said, the matchstick might take off, and then the whole thing goes. So just a thought.
Yeah, and I also agree with what Rob said. Is like doing a crossover. I think might be able to help.
Do that.
Your Beowulf character meeting the cryptids, helping them out. You know what I mean? Might be
that's definitely somewhere down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I got Nightwolf picked up by SourcePoint, and again, I left those pages in the book. So like, I have my characters that are in other titles already introduced into that's going to be in the actual direct market. So I mean, that's
cool.
It's things you can do too that like also gets that awareness outside of like if you want to do something that you introduce it to a whole like that audience that you've already built over here. They're like, oh, what's this guy? I'm going to go over here and read this one now so I can find more about this guy.
Cool. I mean, Grant, I don't know if you Oh, go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if you could get a pull quote from Eric Larson, I heard that really moves the needle.
Yeah, I sorry if it made it sound like I hate Eric Larson. I actually like Eric Larson. It's I think he's made some maybe poor career decisions. but as you pointed out, he doesn't really, as being a founding member of Image, he doesn't really need to make great career decisions.
I think at this point he's just having fun with whatever he's doing.
He's doing what we all want to do, right?
Exactly.
He's making comics and making a living out of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, whether he's relevant or not, he's doing exactly what we all want to do.
Pretty much.
I'd kill to be that irrelevant.
very, very much so. The other thing too, like you got the guys, like the Ninja Turtle guys, right? That's all they've done their entire like career, and even after selling it to like Nickelodeon, they're still making it. Like they got had to pay for their own rights to their own book.
But the point that I guess the point I was trying to make is, if they had just stuck with their first idea was Fugitoid,
mm-hmm.
which I mean, how many T-shirts have you seen that say Fugitoid?
Right.
How many action figures? I mean, like,
I actually did have that action figure, but if it wasn't for the Ninja Turtles, I would have no idea who that was. You know what I mean? So there you go. But yeah, exactly. It's your first idea might not be the one, so you might have another one. But again, the whole thing about branding is you're selling yourself. And that's what we all are doing, especially as an indie creator. We have to, right? Because if our titles have names at different places, if you don't have that connectivity to yourself, then really, what are you doing? Because they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I read that book, I can't remember that dude's name. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy, right? You want to have your name associated with your books. They're like, oh yeah, he also did this, right? You want to have that relevancy. You want to be at least Eric Larson relevant.
Right.
All right. I mean, I don't. Does anybody else have anything else, or are we good?
Oh, I'm good. I got a lot.
All right, Grant. I don't know if we helped or not. I hope we did. Sorry for the ribbing, but
Yes.
Yeah.
So did this help at all? Like, any thoughts on like what where you kind of want to go now, or what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to go in here tonight and have like you guys have all the answers, but you guys definitely have given me stuff to think about. Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah. Trust me, we do not have all the answers. If we did,
have opinions just like everybody else.
What we got? All right. You know what else we have? We have fisticuffs. So, Fred, walk us through this.
Yes. So, fisticuffs is about a functional drunk whose comfortable life derails when a one-night stand has deadly consequences. It's about a deeply flawed protagonist. He believes himself to be Alex DeLarge or Slim Shady, but he does not realize he's probably closer in character to George Costanza. And once this ability invades his body, the rest of his life becomes complicated in even darker, harsher ways. In this particular issue, book 4, and by the way, 1 through 3 will be available with catch-up tiers, especially during the first 72 hours. But in book 4, he is going to confront the most deadly enemy he faces, a giant blooming onion monster. So, like I said, Fisticuffs is, it's been compared to Preacher, The Boys, and like the works of Frank Miller. It's a blend of absurdist humor, over-the-top action, and like I said, deeply personal drama that through all the craziness, hopefully will get through to some people and while entertaining them. So we're launching in the beginning of May, and we're trying to get to at least 100 followers. So any support and any shares would really help us out. We'd really appreciate it.
Very nice.
All right, very nice, very nice. And did you say when you were planning on launching?
Beginning of May. Right now, I'm targeting Cinco de Mayo. I feel like that would be very festive since I used to work at a Chili's and I ate a fair amount of blooming onions there. But we'll see.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right. And then we have right. So Grant, what are we looking at? League of Cryptids.
Yeah, League of Cryptids is like the Avengers or the Justice League, but with cryptids instead of superheroes. The idea is that what we think of as being cryptids are actually aliens from other planets who were sent here by a federation of planets to come to Earth to help us develop and protect us from outside sources. In this particular storyline, they're going up against the Loveland Frogmen, but it turns out that that they're actually like the Loveland Frogmen are kind of a smokescreen for another villain, which you'll have to read to find out about that.
Dun dun dun.
Now, this is what is this? What issue is this?
This is issue 4, and this is the last issue of this mini series. But I'm already planning a sequel.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Very nice. All right, cool. Well, you got another 19 days to go. You got a few more bucks you need to get in there. So everybody, if you're listening to this, go check this book out. It's really nice. Help Grant out. It's a really good looking book. A lot of fun.
Hey Grant, if you do get into doing more of it with your next story arc, and you happen to be coinciding launch dates with Wes Hartman and doing his Savage Sasquatch, that would be a great time to do like a crossover promotion, like like one of the how I do with like the mini print. That might help seed into that cryptid audience, because that book is pretty good, and he's actually going to be starting to do it again fairly quickly. We had him on our last show 2 weeks ago. So
it's called the Savage Sasquatch.
Yeah.
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 It's basically Bigfoot in space.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't really realize when I started working on this comic book that cryptid comic books was going to become like this big trend. But so many people have cryptid comic books right now.
Mm-hmm. No, like I said, cryptids it's a cult following, man. Especially like the really obscure ones that are like localized. Specifically, like you have the Jersey Devil, and other such things. Like people love seeing their like local cryptid in things,
Yeah. All right, cool. So you got another 19 days. Go check it out, man. It's an awesome book. Got 113 backers. Very nice. All righty. Now, what do we got here? Okay, so we have Snowpaw.
Oh, ain't that pretty? Yeah, so this is Snowpaw. This is the volume 1. This is the collected edition of the series. It collects the first 4 issues, and also will have additional story pages and pinup art, as well as the collected covers. So yeah, we are going live on April 15th, and this will be I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do, that's the soft cover by Mog Park. We are also going to be doing a faux leather with a gold gilded on it. And that is designed by myself. So I can call myself a cover artist now. But yeah, no, it's going to be great. And for those of you who don't know who Snowpaw is, in Nightwolf, she is his mentor, but in her own series, she is an 18-year-old who grew up in the Scottish Highlands on a family farm that is going under, and she is betrothed to a rich man's son in order to save the farm against her will. Though she kind of sees a little bit of the high life might be a little bit something that she might like. However, that doesn't matter, because she is followed by a high-class werewolf back to her family farm, who attacks the family and triggers her first transformation.
All right, cool. You said April 15th?
April 15th.
Very nice, very nice. All right, cool. How many pages?
That will be 152 pages, I believe.
Very nice. All right, cool. Sounds good. Everybody, go sign up. All right, and real quick, I'll pull up This is Rod Espinosa's Adventure Finders. This is a book that I will be putting out for Rod. This is Rod's long-running webcomic, and we're putting together, and we're going to put it in print for him. This is the first 5 issues. I believe it comes out to 240 pages worth of material because they're really thick issues. They're like 40, 50 pages per issue. It's crazy. But if you like Dungeons and Dragons, Game of Thrones, that sort of thing, I mean, this might be up your alley. So, you can sign up now. We'll probably be launching in the next couple weeks. I'm going to have a conversation with Rod, and and this will be going live soon. So sign up when you get a chance. Thank you.
Notice how he put his name at the top of the title.
Yeah. I put
Branding.
Rod in it.
Branding.
Yeah. But yeah. All right. So we got a Fugitoid action figure.
I think that was referring to yours, Grant.
Yeah.
Then Mark jumped on it as well.
Very nice. There you go. All right. Gentlemen, I think we'll call this one early since we only have 2 people. Normally we run an hour and a half, but we usually have 3 folks on. So so we'll end this one a little bit early, especially since I have to go to work early in the morning. So
Fair. I mean,
Complain about going to bed early.
yeah. So gentlemen, please let's start with Fred. Fred, where can we find you and your work, sir?
At Schwartz Art LLC on Twitter, on Twitter, on Instagram, X, basically on all the big socials at Schwartz Art LLC. And you can find me on www.schwartzart-llc.com, and that'll bring you back to the Book 4 campaign page where, please follow. Thank you.
thanks, Mark.
Grant, where can we find you and your work, sir?
The main place is comicsburg.com. That's my publisher. If you go there, you can sign up for my newsletter. There's a little thing at the top that says free comic book. If you click on that, you'll not only get a couple PDFs of free comic books, you will sign up for my newsletter so you know what's going on with me. You can also find me on social media. My name is Grant Lankard. It's a very distinct name. So if you search for it in any of the major social medias, except for Twitter or X, because I hate Twitter. But the rest of the social medias you can find me on.
All right, cool. Rob, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Oh, yeah. As always, you can find me at Lone Wolf Comics on pretty much every single social network that's out there, but I might not be as active on them. I am usually only active on Facebook, X, Instagram, and then also at Rob Multari on the same 3, and lonewolfcomics.com. That is my website where you can go and check out my titles and wonder why some of them haven't been produced yet, and as well as go and get some back issues of Nightwolf and Snowpaw that are on my online shop.
All right, cool. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt, but mostly I'm active on Facebook, similar to Rob, and on YouTube Sunday nights with JD Rosario, Tom Hutchison, and various other guests. Sometimes with Rob when he wants to make a guest appearance. Sometimes
Probably in about a month, I'll be on.
There you go. Listen, man, you're always welcome.
I know. Well, I am launching on the 15th, so you know.
Yeah, I know. I think Grant is on. Grant, you're on this weekend. You're muted.
You're muted again.
How about I look at my list?
You're still muted, Grant.
Oh, no, Grant's on. You're on not this weekend, the following weekend. Yeah. Oh, and Fred, if you ever want to come on, just let me know. We'll you're always welcome. You know that.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you everybody for being here. And just remember, please look at the show notes. in the show notes are the links to all of these creators' campaigns. Please click on those links, buy these books, support these creators. All of them are impassioned. All of them are doing great work. So please go check out their work, pick up and support your local indie artists. You know, these guys right here, all these guys. And just remember, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.